Welcome back to Applied Physics Lecture Series, Unit 3, Optoelectronics, Lecture 1, Radiative Transitions, Absorption, Spontaneous Emission, and Stimulated Emission. Before going to the actual topic, first of all, you have to know what are these optoelectronics, or you may call these are optoelectronic devices. So the devices are the hardware component which convert light energy into electrical energy. Such a devices are called as optoelectronic devices. In our present syllabus, we are having such a 5 optoelectronic devices, namely semiconductor, laser, LED, operation of LED, so pin detector, avalanche photodetector, and solar cell. So all these details related to these optoelectronic devices we will see in detail in the coming lectures. But before going to those, first of all, you have to know some basics regarding the atomic structure. You know, every material is made up of with atoms, and atom is having nucleus at the center, which consists of neutrons and protons. Neutron is neutral in charge and proton is positively charged. Around the positively charged nucleus, so in circular or elliptical orbits, electrons are rotated in various shells, and the electrons are having negative charge. And in these diagrams, you can able to observe at the center exactly nucleus is there, which consists of neutron and proton, and around the positively charged nucleus in the circular orbits, electrons are oriented. And if we divide all the circular orbits into the various shells, we are having K, L, M, N shells, and exactly at the center there is a positively charged nucleus. And according to the band structure also, if we consider the material structure, we can able to divide that material structure into two parts. One is valence band and second one is conduction band. Already you know what is meant by band. So a set of closely associated energy levels with fractional difference between the successive energy levels will be called as band. Such energy levels are accumulated at one place. Such a accumulation will be called as one band. So that's why we are having valence band and conduction band, and both the regions are separated with small amount of energy gap in case of semiconductors. So at ordinary temperatures, that means at absolute zero temperature, so valence band is completely filled with electrons, and those energy levels present in the valence band are occupied by the electrons which are present in the innermost orbits. And usually the conduction band, which is having a set of energy levels which are having a little bit excess amount of energy than energy levels in the valence band, those are usually unoccupied. But when you exert the electrons, that means if you exert the material from the external means, either by increasing the temperature or the application of electric field or supply the energy from the external means, that means through the surroundings. So some number of electrons which are present in the valence band are exerted to the conduction band. That's why conduction band is partially filled. And some number of charge carriers are shifted to the conduction band from the valence band. Therefore, some vacant energy levels are present even in the valence band. That's why if electrons are excited, both the conduction band and valence band are partially filled. Then you have to know what is meant by generation and recombination. Generation means you have to produce more number of charge carriers. Recombination means so that such a charge carriers which are generated during the process of generation mechanism, so they have to recombine themselves and they will disappear. So this is the simplest meaning of generation and recombination. So if you want to see generation, when an electron leaving the energy level creates a hole, the process is called as electron hole generation. You know very well, whenever the electron is moved from valence band to the conduction band, and in place of that vacancy left by the electron in the valence band, we have to substitute such a vacancy with a unit positive charge called as hole. Therefore, for every electron which is moved from valence band to the conduction band, one extra hole is present. That's why when an electron is leaving an energy level creates a hole, then the process is called as electron hole pair generation. Simply it is called as a generation process. Similarly, once the electron is reached to the conduction band, it can't able to stay in the conduction band on a permanent basis. It has to return back to the ground state or its original state. So that's why when an electron combines with the hole, excess amount of energy possessed by the electron is released. Such a process will be called as recombination. Generation and recombination of electron hole pair essentially require external agencies such as optical, electrical, or thermal agencies. That means to take the process of either generation or recombination, so how to give the external, how to apply the external sources like increase of temperature, application of electric field, or giving the energy like that. Such a process are mainly between the valence band and conduction band. Then what are radiative and non-radiative recombinations? Radiative recombination means during the process of recombination, that means when an electron in the conduction band comes back and recombines with the hole in the valence band, that excess amount of energy is coming out in the form of light or in the form of a photon. Such a recombination will be called as radiative recombination. Usually electrons are present in the higher energy level, say conduction band. They are having more energy than holes which are present in the valence band. That's why when an electron is returned back and it is recombined with a hole, excess amount of energy will be coming out in the form of a photon or in the form of light. Such a process is called as radiative recombination. So optical process associated with radiative recombination are absorption, spontaneous emission, and stimulated emission. On the other hand, we are having one more recombination, that is non-radiative recombination. So here also, when an electron in the conduction band recombines with a hole in the valence band, again excess amount of energy is coming out, but here it is in the form of heat. So that means excess amount of energy is coming out in the form of heat. Such a recombination will be called as non-radiative recombination. So such a non-radiative recombination process involves Auger recombination, surface recombination, and recombination at defects. And if you see the three processes which are associated with the radiative recombination, the three processes are optical processes. First is absorption. What is meant by absorption? Usually the electrons are present at ground state. If you consider the energy level description, at the bottom we are having ground level, and at some distance we are having higher energy levels or excited states. Those two are separated with certain amount of energy difference. And if you want to consider the absorption process, usually the electrons are present at the ground level, and such electrons are excited by supplying certain amount of energy from the external means. That means with influence of external agency, the electrons which are present in ground state are excited to the higher energy levels by absorbing an energy which is equivalent to photon amount of energy, which is in the form of h nu. Such a process is called as absorption. In the first diagram, we can able to see the process of absorption. Spontaneous emission. Once the electrons are reached to the higher energy level, they are returned back to the ground state. Why? Because the position is not permanent for them in the higher energy level. So the electrons which are present in the higher energy level, those are really unstable. They have to return back to the ground state. Therefore, without influence of any external energy, after the lifetime is over, the electrons which are present in the higher energy level are returned back to the ground state by releasing the excess amount of energy in the form of photon, in the form of h nu by itself. Such a emission process is called as spontaneous emission. Photons released in the spontaneous emission are not coherent. And you can able to see the spontaneous emission process in the second part of this diagram. And if you consider the third one, so stimulated emission. When an electron which is present in the higher energy level, after absorption is over, forcefully we will brought back the electrons from the higher energy level to the ground state. That means with influence of external agency, the electrons which are present in the higher energy level are returned back to the ground state by releasing an energy which is equivalent to 2 photons amount of energy. Such a process is called as stimulated emission. Here the process will take place with influence of external energy. That's why how to influence the electron which is present in the higher energy level with one photon. Such a photon is called as either primary photon or induced photon. During the process, we are getting one more electron, that is called as incident photon or secondary photon. So the photons which are released are coherent. So that's why this is another example for radiative recombination. Thanks for watching.